In modern warfare, a whole conflict can be fought and decided in less time than a long weekend. Today, we're going to break down an incredible 88-hour air war that basically became a live-fire test for next-generation military tech. We're going to look at how long-range missiles, a sort of electronic ghost war, and some really decisive leadership shaped the outcome in less than 4 days.
88 hours. That's it. That's the entire timeline we're talking about. But wow, was it packed. In that tiny window, you had a massive collision of competing technologies. We're talking next-gen fighters, missiles that can see and strike from hundreds of kilometers away, and this totally invisible war of electronic signals.
So that's the real question we're digging into, right? How did all this play out? Because this wasn't just about who had more planes in the sky. It was a genuine test of missile range versus missile defense, and of military teamwork versus intense strategic pressure.
All right, so the first phase of this thing wasn't a classic dogfight like you see in the movies, with planes twisting and turning in view of each other. No, this was fought from way, way out, hundreds of kilometers away, where pilots were relying completely on their advanced radar and long-range missiles. And you can see, right from the get-go, the odds were really stacked. The Pakistani Air Force put up about 2 squadrons against 5 from the Indian side. I mean, when you're facing a force more than double your size, your technology and your tactics better be good enough to even the odds.
And this is exactly where technology started to rewrite the rules. The sources really highlight the Chinese-made PL-15 missile, which has a reported range of around 250 kilometers. Now, that significantly outranged the very capable European Meteor missile that the Indian jets were carrying. In this kind of beyond visual range combat, the pilot who can shoot first has a massive advantage. It forces the other guy to go defensive before he's even in a position to fire back.
And that first shot is absolutely everything, especially once you hit what's called the no-escape zone. And trust me, it is just as serious as it sounds. This is the point where the missile's own onboard radar kicks in and locks on. From that moment, it's pretty much a high-speed math problem that is incredibly difficult for even the best pilots in the world to solve.
This number right here just shows you how intense that aerial duel was. In a little over an hour, just 70 minutes, somewhere between 50 and 70 of these sophisticated long-range missiles were reportedly fired by both sides. That is a staggering amount of high-tech firepower in a really, really short amount of time. So let's switch gears to the next battlefront, because this one was fought in the electronic spectrum. This was the fight against drones, a ghost war, where the main weapons weren't bullets or missiles, but jamming signals and spoofed GPS coordinates.
What's really fascinating here is the layered defense strategy that the analysis points to. The first move was always a soft kill, basically electronically cut the drone's connection to its pilot. If that didn't work, you move to step 2, hack its navigation by feeding it fake GPS data so it gets lost. And only if all of that failed would you go for a hard kill, which means actually shooting it down. And the impact of all this was just huge. Modern, encrypted data links, which were reportedly boosted by Chinese tech, were the key to overpowering and jamming the drone's control signals. But the electronic fight went even further. Sources say a cyber command unit even managed to knock out the power at an opposing military base, a huge disruption that went way beyond just the sky.
And the results of this whole strategy? Well, according to the source, a grand total of 88 hostile drones were neutralized during the conflict. That's a pretty clear sign of just how effective this electronic-first approach really was.
Okay, now we're getting to the climax of the whole military showdown, a direct attack against what many consider one of the most powerful air defense systems on the planet. The S-400, you've probably heard of it. Its reputation is legendary. This Russian-made system is designed to create a giant, almost unbreakable defensive bubble. It can take out anything from fighter jets to some types of ballistic missiles inside of 300-kilometer radius. It was pretty much seen as the ultimate shield. This quote from a Pakistani Air Force commander really just captures the insane pressure of that moment. I mean, can you imagine trying to manage a long-range missile fight with enemy jets, while at the very same time you're desperately trying to avoid one of the deadliest surface-to-air threats in existence? It's just unbelievable multitasking under extreme fire. But, according to Pakistan's military, that shield was pierced. A precise, air-launched hypersonic missile reportedly hit an S-400 installation. When a weapon is traveling at over Mach 4, that kind of speed just fundamentally challenges the reaction time of even the world's best defensive systems, which are built to track things moving at slower, more predictable speeds. So you've got this wild, high-stakes battle going on. How on earth did it all end so quickly?
Well, the analysis suggests the answer is in the leadership and a command structure that was incredibly in sync.
Our source talks about what it calls unprecedented harmony. The chiefs of the Army and the Air Force were reportedly on the same page 24/7. That let them make fast, coordinated decisions. This unity, all the way from the battlefield commanders up to the National Command Authority, was seen as absolutely critical in getting the crisis under control.
And here's how it all wrapped up. After Pakistan's counterstrikes, India apparently indicated it didn't want things to escalate any further. Then international pressure started to build, including a very public call to stop from the US president at the time, Donald Trump. Soon after that, a ceasefire was officially announced, and just like that, the 88-hour conflict was over. Even though it was incredibly short, this conflict immediately became a vital case study for militaries all over the world. It offered this rare, real-world peek into what 21st century warfare actually looks like. You really have to see this conflict for what it was. A live-fire test for a whole world's worth of military hardware. You had French jets firing European missiles, going up against Chinese fighters with their own advanced weapons, all while Russian air defenses and drone tech with Israeli roots were in the mix. For military analysts, this was like hitting the jackpot, a chance to see how all these competing systems actually perform against each other for real. And all of this leaves us with one final really important question. We saw how a technological edge, like a longer-range missile, could totally dominate a single battle. But we also saw how unified leadership could end the entire war. So, in the conflicts of the future, what's going to hold the ultimate advantage? The weapon that's in the air, or the will that's in the command center? That's the question military strategists are going to be wrestling with for years to come.